All right, Steve, let's talk some elite prospect quick hitters to take us into the weekend. Let's start at the top here. Top 3 emerging for DB Dorian Brew. What do you got there?
Yeah, talking to a source close to Dorian Brew earlier this week, he feels like LSU, Texas, and USC are best positioned for Dorian Brew. USC is a program that's kind of been sexy around Dorian Brew after some visits out there. The new defensive coaching staff, Deontin Lynn, defensive coordinator, kind of leading that charge, making things attractive out there at USC. LSU, Corey Raymond, you never sleep on them for a defensive back. And then Texas, they're looking for another top 5 recruiting class. They are going to be one of the hot schools we talk about this summer. They weren't a school that we talked about as much in the spring, but I have a feeling come summer, come official visit season, there is going to be a lot of Texas talk on this program, Inside Scoop in the On3 platform.
It's going to be a hot summer in Texas. All right, Alabama trending for an Ohio State lean. What's going on?
Well, I wouldn't call him an Ohio State lean. There were times where I maybe would have called Justin Hill on 300 edge rusher from Cincinnati Whitten Woods and Ohio State lean. And the Buckeyes are certainly still in the middle of that one, but talking to Justin and other people with knowledge of the recruitment over the last couple of weeks, I get the sense that Alabama is well positioned going into his official visits, and Oregon is a major threat to the Crimson Tide. He was just in Eugene this past weekend. Will be back for his official visits to all those places here this summer, but don't just put him in Ohio State's class. The Buckeyes have the number 1 haul in the country right now on 3. Justin Hill would be a major piece to help keep them there, but Oregon's going to push for a second straight top 5 class. That new Alabama coaching staff looking real attractive to Justin Hill as well, and he just loves the vibe in Tuscaloosa, being on campus there. He's talked about that regarding past visits. Now he likes the new coaching staff there. Alabama and Oregon giving Ohio State hell on the trail for Justin Hill. If not, maybe in front of the Buckeyes right now going into these official visits.
All right, another day, another video. So you know we're talking about committed quarterback Keelon Russell, SMU QB commit Keelon Russell. What are you hearing now that Oregon has entered the picture?
Well, just had a great visit to SMU as official, longtime commit to the Mustangs. Was one of 24 official visitors for Rhett Lashley and company this past weekend. It was another great experience. Reminded him why he loves SMU, why he's committed to that program. But the door is still open for some other schools. And college coaches are coming in droves to Duncanville, and they just had their spring game yesterday. But talking to some coaches that have been in Texas, recruiting that school, one source that he's not really in the picture for Keelon Russell, but he said keep an eye on Alabama, and he's got that official visit coming up to Alabama here. He is Alabama's guy right now in the 2025 class at the position. Now, there was a time where I think that they would have taken Julian Lewis if the circumstances were right, the 5-star USC commit from Carrollton. But Alabama has locked in on Keelon Russell. He is QB1 on their board, and it sounds like there's some mutual feelings going into this upcoming official visit. They love what this staff did with Michael Penix and company. Nick Sheridan's leading the charge for Alabama on the trail there. You and I have talked about Ole Miss kind of maybe being the biggest threat to SMU because they offered first. They had them on campus a couple times, including a recent official visit. But I'm starting to really get a sense that Alabama's one to watch. And then Oregon, certainly they're also looking to take another high school signal caller this class. Coach Samples is leading the charge for Oregon there. Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, he has all those Lone Star State connections as well. Coach Samples' dad is Keelon Russell's head football coach there at Duncanville. So Oregon's certainly ingrained at that program. But Alabama's in an interesting spot going into the official visits. He's their top target at the position. I think the Russell family's feeling that going into the official visit. And as Alabama tries to push their way into the top 5 here and have a terrific class, Keelon Russell's the quarterback they want under center, and they have a chance to land him.
All right, now we got 5-star cornerback Naeem Offord taking some visits. Is this something Ohio State fans should be concerned about or just part of the process?
Well, anytime that you have a blue chip commit out of region in SEC country committed and they're still taking visits, I'm nervous. I don't care how strong, solid any of these young men say. Now he's looking at Oregon, was just on campus with the Ducks this past weekend. Our colleague Chad Simmons had a post-visit reaction story. And he said, Naeem told Chad, I'm still locked in with Ohio State, but I'm high on Oregon, and they're a priority on my list, and Oregon will get an official visit. And Dan Lanning and the Ducks, when you're talking about a program from head coach recruiter on down, I'm not sure anybody does a better job. And you know who said as much? Marjan Moore. I talked to her yesterday. That's Decoria and Moore's mom. She taught the 5-star receiver, #1 receiver in the country from Duncanville. He's going to take his official visits to Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon. And from just a straight relationship standpoint, from head coach on down, the relationship with Oregon is the best. So they pour into their process and recruit the hell out of these kids. And so you got to be nervous when Oregon's in the picture if you're Ohio State. Chad also mentioned Florida State as a contender. We know Auburn and some of those other programs are going to continue to try and chip away at Naeem Offord as well. Now, Ohio State, they got the recruiting chops to hold them. We saw them hold J.J. Smith last year, but they don't bat 1,000. So we'll see what happens. But Naeem Offord, that's certainly one that we'll continue to monitor as he has the door open for some other programs to make a run.